My name is Geoff Henderson, as has been introduced. I am the principal of a digital media agency called Digital Native Academy. I'm also the co-director of a community makerspace in Walsall. Two completely different animals, one addressing the digital world, both for the private sector and for the public sector. This is very much about providing facilities for people who work and who undertake recreation to do with making. So we provide a whole pile of equipment, and then they come in there, pay their membership fees, and they can use all of that equipment. Big sewing machines, 3D printers, woodworking machines, and picking up upon Noah's important point, which I'd written down before she even said it, bridging capital. And so we've got people in there who are young, who are old, who are male, who are female, who are from other parts of the world, who are rich, who are poor, who are educated, who are not educated, and they come in, they get together, and they start to make things. More importantly, not only do they start to make things, they talk to each other about making things. And by talking to each other about making things, they make different things, they make other things. So it's very interesting. Come over, have a look, see what we do. I'm not talking about that today, even though I've used up 2 minutes. I'm an economic development type person, supporting companies to improve their performance. About 6 years ago, we were commissioned by the 4 Black Country local authorities to build something called the Black Country Bullet. In the Black Country, we don't build a car, but we actually produce everything which goes into the making of a car, whether it's products, services, materials. It's a virtual car, and so we designed a virtual car. And the virtual car breaks into its bits. And then you click on the bits, and in the case of this diagram, you click on the drivetrain, and what comes up are all the companies in the Black Country who make components who go into the drivetrain. Sealco, Reliable Spring, Supply Technologies, etc., etc. You can then apply some filters on the database to narrow down against their quality, against their location, and so on and so forth. Typical database type stuff. We then invented a category system for a car, because there is no category system for a car. We invented a 3-level, but it could be multi-level. So you start off with materials, mechanical, electrical, electronic, bodywork, trim, services, and then down from there, you can then click on and find companies, not by searching visually, but by searching by category. On the back of the bullet, we were then asked by Sample Council, could we actually do the same for a building, a virtual building? Unfortunately or unfortunately, depending on your current views upon the new West Midlands Metropolitan Hospital, we were commissioned by them to produce the virtual hospital, sponsored by Karelian, with grateful input from Geoff. Again, a virtual hospital. Here you can see a typical ward, a typical operating theatre, a typical medical records room. Click on the components, find the companies who have the potential to feed into that supply chain. It won lots of awards, national awards, regional awards, and I've just found the secret of winning awards, you enter. Yeah, you enter. The chances are you might win one. We didn't invent a category system for the construction sector. One already exists. There's a national, in fact, they keep changing them every year or two. They keep changing the category systems for construction work. But we adopted a particular one. And again, like the bullet, you can find those companies by those categories. Here's one of the companies. And the reason I put up this, Ashton Lacey Building Systems, based down in West Bromwich. Tells you about them, the track record, a bit about the company, and their accreditations. And we'll come back to accreditations. They've got Achilles, they'll have ISO 14001. People know 14001, environmental standard. This is the back office of that system. So Karelian put their works packages for the hospital on there and their category managers, and then they go out to the marketplace and say, can you provide us with X? There are 459 companies on that system who are looking to win work from Karelian, or were looking to win work from Karelian. And how was it paid for? Because Sandwell, being an impoverished local authority, had no money. And so we dreamt up an advertising and sponsorship package so companies could actually advertise themselves on the site and therefore raise their profile. We put some examples up there. So sustainable approach with the public sector not having much money. Then we were asked to do it for the rail sector with the coming of HS2 and Dudley Light Rail and so on. So we built a virtual train and a virtual station. Exactly the same principle as the previous two. Then they asked us to build a city. And so we came up with a virtual city. And you'll see within these cities you have a number of different components. There's an airport, there's a motorway, there's an energy plant. And again, this is to support the 12 sectors which were identified as being important to the Black Country. That's a nicer picture. There's the 12 sectors. So what? We're talking at a sustainability climate action conference. What's all that got to do with what we do? The current system, I don't think, appears to be working. Current procurement methods, public-private partnership, private finance initiatives, I won't say what W2F stands for. Does the collapse of companies like Karelian present an opportunity? Should the tail be wagging the dog? Picking up on Ian's point about hierarchies, supply chains, as with Karelian, are hierarchical, top-down hierarchical. Is there the opportunity now with the demise of people like Karelian, and I notice Capita is also in trouble, to give more weight to the companies lower down in the supply chain? Or circular economy principles entering the public consciousness, changing behavior. Are big companies beginning to see the writing on the wall? Evian, Iceland, they're all saying we're going to do this by 2025, recycling. Could a circular economy portal help change the way things are done? I just dredged this up from the RSA's report, the Great Recovery Report, and I won't read out these 4 things again. You can read these at your leisure. All important points about how the circular economy can work and how various parts of the system can make it work. This is all good stuff, but in addition, why can't public sector contracts, all public sector contracts, stipulate that product, services, materials adhere to circular economy principles? Why not? So you've seen the portal in action. Bottom-up, we're suggesting maybe a bottom-up approach. Companies can register, and we've talked about, well, can we create an indicator for circular economy? And so we've got an ACE indicator. We're activating the circular economy. We're actually getting on and doing something about it. Buyers can search and source circular economy suppliers. Circular economy suppliers can collaborate with each other. Support service organizations can register and promote their services. Requests for information, requests for quotation can be posted only by accredited ACE buyers. And learning solutions can be put in there from the learning institutions. And it can encompass, as I said before, products, processes, services, and materials. Is there a basis there for further discussion? Thanks very much.